What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to episode 8 of Girls Who Bet. Erin Dolan here with the fabulous Liv Moods. Today, her face is actually not numb for this show, so might
Jeez,
go a
my
little more
God.
smoothly.
What a nightmare that was. I was literally thinking like, okay, you're going to walk out of here. You're going to be fine. You'll be able to film. No. Half of my face, I literally could not move. And my dad was like,
From
you
the
might want to
dentist.
address that. It was the dentist. I got a cavity filled. Yes, I got a cavity. Back off. I brush my teeth. I take care of my teeth, but I did get a cavity. So had to get that filled. And I had someone tweet me and say, poor scheduling. And I wanted to say back, when there are 4 major sports happening simultaneously, when is a good time for anything?
Honestly, I
For
feel like
going to
Tuesday's
get
the perfect
groceries.
time. Yesterday, I went to the dentist too, but mine was just for
Right.
cleaning. I didn't have a cavity, but Tuesday is the one day I'm like, okay, this is the day. If I have to do
Right.
something, it needs to be today.
Well,
Or
and you got to
even
squeeze it in
Friday.
when you can. I mean, I feel like there's
Yeah.
something going on right now. There's something going on every single day. So forgive me for the poor scheduling, but there's a lot going on right now. So,
Yeah, you had the Kourtney Kardashian meme of
oh
her
my
when she did
God,
that. It was so funny.
it was a
But yeah,
nightmare.
speaking of obviously all the sports that are on right now, game 2 of the World Series, you have the Braves down by 1 to the Houston Astros. As you know, yesterday the Braves had won, and the big story was Charlie Morton just being able to throw 16 pitches on a broken leg. Very impressive.
My Lord. Lots of NBA on the slate. There's like 10
10
NBA games
games.
on the slate tonight. Last I checked, the Magic were kind of whooping on the Hornets. I'm not sure what the score is now, but that was definitely surprising to me because this Hornets team came out swinging. And we're looking pretty
They're down by
solid.
3 at the half right now. I'm hoping that this
Okay.
is the most updated. For me tonight, I took the Heat plus 3.5 against the Nets. I also took the Timberwolves plus 6.5. I felt like that line was such a trap game because it did not move at all. It opened 6.5, stayed at 6.5. That is bizarre to me, especially against the
Yep.
Milwaukee Bucks. And the last thing I took was the Trailblazers minus 2.5, but that game's not till 10 p.m. Eastern.
Later. Yeah.
Oh my
Well, I
gosh, the
had
Lakers are killing the Thunder. 41-19, end of the first quarter.
I'm starting to get nervous about this Thunder team. And what's interesting about it is last year, Shai was one of my favorite player props. He really popped off last year. Not to say he won't do it again this year, but I did not expect OKC to be this poor. And they kind of look like a mess right now. So I'm not necessarily surprised that the Lakers are whooping on them. But obviously there's probably a lot of ball game left, so you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
We saw that last week while we were on this show when the Pacers came back and kept a really close game with the Hornets for a while. So
And I had tweeted
anything can
out that they
happen.
had covered and they didn't, and I looked tragically incorrect at the
In my
end of our
defense,
show.
my phone did show a cover by it was the Bulls versus who was it that played the Bulls? I had Bulls -5 and you
Who
had the
was
other
it?
side.
Who did the Bulls play that I
It
was
wasn't
like
Pistons, was it? No.
no, it was Pistons. It was Pistons. It was
Okay,
absolutely
so
Pistons.
Bulls
I took
so
Pistons,
Bulls
what
and
was it, like plus
Pistons.
5 that I had said?
It was
And then
+5,
that
yeah.
last basket they ended up counting. But so many people had tweeted at me, been like, "Did you not see the last thing?" It wasn't actually that bad of a tweet, but
No,
yeah,
it
there's a
wasn't.
lot of we're in the thick of it right
We
now.
are
And we had the
in
sports equinox last Thursday, which is crazy. So that's Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, and NHL going on at once. It was like the first time I think in 25 years, which is pretty wild.
nuts. Crazy. Sorry,
Crazy.
my dog just squeaked her ball, so help me God. I swear.
I guarantee my dog
Can't
comes
have
running through
anything
the
nice in
door.
this house. I swear to you. And then the NFL craziness. I feel like we talked about it a little bit on the show. Hardly enough. We talked about it a little bit on the show. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, I swear. We talked about it last week on the show that the slate was kind of absolutely horrible,
Hated this
actually.
like terrible.
I took the Bears to cover against Tom Brady, and you know
We
what?
both did. As the girls who bet best bet.
I know. In hindsight, was it my smartest move? Probably no. But the deal is this Bucks team has been not covering a ton. And of course, Tom Brady decides to go off when I'm betting against him. It's exactly what I get. I deserved every ounce of that L. But we've got the Cowboys coming off of a bye week. They're still undefeated against the spread. The Cardinals are still undefeated.
Yeah, they're 6-1 against the
Very,
spread, the Cardinals, which is interesting. I didn't realize they were that good against the spread until I saw that today.
yeah. Yeah. So Cardinals 6-1 against the spread, but undefeated for wins. Kind of interesting. Do you think that the Cardinals will remain undefeated after this week?
We shall see. All I know is that I do like the Green Bay Packers to cover plus 6.5. And I know we'll
I
get
do.
more into that game when we hit our
Yep.
NFL segment. But just in general, obviously, there's a great chance they could remain undefeated. I feel like out of some of the games that are coming up, this would be the one that they could potentially lose. Sorry, I have these
Yeah.
like cords wrapped around me going into my ear that I'm messing with. But yeah, no, I think there's obviously a great chance they're able to win. I'm looking more so at the Packers most likely to cover, only because the line keeps getting longer, and I feel like at 6.5, it's still bettable at that. I know that's one of your favorite bets.
I tweeted that out yesterday, and I got a lot of people telling me like, this person's on COVID reserve list, this person, this person. So it'll be interesting because I do think we're not getting the full Packers team tomorrow night, which is definitely going to be interesting. But this Cardinals team has struggled against teams that they shouldn't have struggled against. They should have lost to the Vikings. They had a lot of mistakes up against the Jags. And I think Aaron Rodgers in primetime, regardless of who's out, if he's playing, I think we're going to see some. I think it'll be a fun game. I do. I think it'll be a fun one. I'm excited for it. It'll be good. But
yeah, we'll get into some of the other games that are happening this Sunday. A much better slate. But just two other things wanted to mention since we're talking kind of at the moment type topics. The Chiefs really need to figure it out, something that we've kind of been mentioning. Also, really love the Bengals. I know the AFC North, Bengals are sitting on top. It was one of those divisions we had talked about at the beginning of the season just being so tough, as well as the AFC West. So just interesting to see how both of those divisions are shaking out so far.
I know. I'm really, you and I talked about it. Joe Burrow is on fire right now. Looks, skills, whatever you want to call it. The dude is cute. Okay. But he also knows how to ball out. He also knows how to ball out.
Not hard on the eyes.
Okay. And you know what? If I saw that guy walking down the street, just at first glance, I'm going to say that's an attractive guy. When I see him in uniform, throwing having passing
It's more so
every
everyone's been obsessed with him and every girl's been obsessed with him since the LSU moment with the
Oh.
cigar and the slow-mo. Every guy knows that's when Joey B became
That's when he glowed.
Joey B.
Period. He glowed up. But yeah, I mean, there's something about him feeding the ball to Jamar Chase that's attractive. Okay. So I said it. But yeah, I'm really loving Joe Burrow right now. I really am. I'm liking this Bengals
he
team
has
a lot.
right now passer rating 108.9, throwing for almost 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns so far, and 8 interceptions in just 7 games this season. But I do feel like a lot of reporters and broadcasters are talking about just how calm he is and how much that's helped him, like in terms of his composure and whatnot. I just absolutely did not see the Bengals whatsoever being on top of this division, especially going into this week. What is week 8, right? Yes, week 8.
Week
so
8. Yep, week 8.
I know. I always remember that our episodes are the NFL week. Girls Who Bet Best Bets.
I know.
Week.
They
We'll
line
have to pick
up.
one out for that. But yeah, let's kind of get into the NBA though, since that's our favorite. And guys, please feel free to comment anything into the sections. We will be addressing some of them throughout the show. And then at the end, kind of get into the Q&A. But all right, the NBA. We have 3 undefeated teams: the Bulls, Warriors, and Jazz. Tomorrow, those teams are going to play Knicks versus Bulls, Grizzlies versus Warriors, Jazz versus Rockets. But for tonight, is there anything on the slate that you'd like that we did not mention at the top of the show?
I kind of like this Grizzlies team to cover. I know you're on the other side of that. There's just something about this Grizzlies team. They've got a lot of talent, a lot of young talent, but the chemistry seems to be there. They kind of I think all the talent. One thing that the Grizzlies are doing right now is all of their talent works very seamlessly together. You've got a Ja Morant that knows his role on this team. You've got Melton that really knows his role on this team. You've got former TCU alum, Go Frogs, Desmond Bane, who was a rookie that was in the leaderboards for being a 3-point shooter last year. He's great from the 3-point line. I just feel like they've got a lot of things going for them right now. And they're very exciting. They're an electric team to watch. And I think chemistry is half of the battle in the NBA because it is a superstar driven league. And if you've got too much power and too many superstars, they start butting heads.
Yeah.
I just really like this Grizzlies team a lot. I think everybody knows their role. They've all got their job that they've got to do. They show up, they do it. They look really great. So I'm very excited about this Grizzlies team right now. Not sure how I feel about them up against the Trailblazers, which is why I didn't tweet the pick out, but I do think they can hang with this Trailblazers team.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm not wildly impressed with the Trailblazers, to be honest with you. I don't know.
This is a bounce back game. The Grizzlies, I believe, are undefeated against the spread. So it's taking them by chance to Yes, they're 3-0 against the spread, so I was like, there's no way they cover 4 games straight, and Portland needs a bounce back game because they haven't been playing that well. So I think Dame's going to go off at home, which is why I'd honestly taken that line at -2.5, just because a 3-pointer at the end could kind of force that. But Ja Morant and the Grizzlies are the real deal. I feel like in the next couple of years, they're only going to get better and better, and that's something I'm actually excited for. I like
Agreed.
watching that team.
Agreed. I really, really like that team a lot. One thing I want to say about the Lakers right now, I'm not sure how I feel about this team yet. Obviously, there was so much hype building up to this year when they got all these new players. They got Russell
Mhm.
Westbrook, my favorite player of all time, Carmelo Anthony. Not sure how much of a role player he'll be on this team, but I love him nonetheless. This Lakers team is interesting to me because you've got a Russell Westbrook who's insanely talented, hasn't done much the first few games of the season, especially in preseason. And then LeBron goes out and he pops off. I don't think that to me, one guy being out shouldn't make that big of a difference when you have a team that's as stacked as the Lakers.
Mhm.
Again, I'm kind of worried that this team isn't going to find roles for each player and it's just going to be a battle of power. Obviously, we know who comes out on top every time in that situation. It's going to be LeBron James. I worry about the health of AD. We're already seeing health with LeBron. But to me, it's
Mhm.
bizarre that Russell Westbrook can have such a poor performance and hardly shoot, hardly rebound. And then LeBron James goes out and he's got 33 points. It shouldn't be that big of a difference to not have LeBron there when you've got a roster that's so deep. So I'm not sure how I feel about this team yet. Kind of same thing that I feel about the Nets right now. The Nets to me are kind of struggling to find their groove. I
Mhm.
know we're very early in the season, but I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how this Lakers team plays out. I think health is going to be a huge factor for them this year. If AD can't stay healthy,
Mhm.
that's going to be really hard on this team. But when you've got so many powerhouses, so many superstars, you've got to find a role for everyone. And I know LeBron James, whether you think he's the GOAT or not, he's an excellent basketball player and pretty much the leader on this team. But there are leadership qualities in Russell Westbrook that can be used and taken advantage of. Same thing with Carmelo Anthony, who's got a very calm demeanor about him whenever he steps on the court. I think everyone just needs to know their role. Right now, it doesn't seem like
Mhm.
they do. It's just kind of a hodgepodge of talent, and I'm not sure how far that's going to take them this year. So, a little worried
Yeah.
about the Lakers, but again, it's early. So,
Well, I think that's part of the reason why they did kind of get a stacked team, just because a lot of those players are veterans, like LeBron James. I'm not surprised he's already sitting 2 games. AD, got injured at the end of last season. Russell Westbrook is supposed to come in and kind of just fill in the gaps during the regular season because that was what they really lacked last season, having to do the whole play-in and everything. But last game, Russell Westbrook had the 33 points when he was out. So I know he's semi stepping up when LeBron's not in, but I get your point in terms of when LeBron does step in, who's going to have the ball, who's going to control it. That's absolutely going to
right,
be an issue, and why I don't even
right,
like them coming out of the West whatsoever. But I would say with this whole Lakers team, obviously everybody's going to overreact as soon as they went 1-2, just because there's so much hype around them during
of
the
course,
preseason. Everyone's going
and
to
it's
talk about
early,
wherever LeBron is. If LeBron was on the
right?
Memphis Grizzlies, we'd be talking about the Memphis Grizzlies all summer.
It's
People
true.
love to talk about him, but obviously we had that scuffle between AD and Dwight Howard last week. I know that happened, 4 days ago or whatever, but just in general to kind of see a team like a team of veterans be able to go and do that, knowing that all the cameras are going to be on you. It's like, do that in the locker room. You know that in the locker room, this stuff happens all the time. I mean, Shaq made that one
Right.
comment about Ben Simmons, was like, I would have knocked him out in the locker room or something crazy like that. I think it all goes down there, but don't actually have it, the first week of the NBA or second, and you guys are like arguing on the side. Like, it's just so embarrassing. But there was one person that had tweeted out, which hopefully we can pull this up, Rob. I was going through just trying to look for the scuffle, and somebody had put up Macklemore was just in the back eating popcorn, which I didn't even notice from all the different tweets, but
Oh
I thought that
man.
was good because that's probably what I would do. I don't think I would take my phone out in that situation. I would
No,
just be
I'd
like,
just be
oh,
in
let
it.
me just watch this
I'd
go
be
down.
locked in. Yeah, no. I think with this Lakers team, something that what I mean by power too with these veterans, obviously a team full of veterans is never a bad thing, but you've got a Russell Westbrook who came from the Wizards, who was used to controlling the offense through his hand. He
Mhm.
had the ball in his hand 8 out of 10 times unless he was feeding it to
Triple
Bradley
double
Beal.
king.
So he was a triple double king, but he's so used to having the ball in his hands. He was the facilitator for the
Mhm.
Wizards. It was offense was going through his hands the entire game, every game without failure. LeBron is the same way. So that's
Well, it's
where
the
I mean
LeBron
there kind
James
of needs to
show,
be.
no matter what.
It is, and that's where I'm saying there kind of needs to be an established. It's going to be tough to have both of these guys playing on the court at the same time unless there is an established. This is what your role is. This is what your role is, and it may require one of them or both of them to kind of take a step back and do something that
Mhm.
they're not used to doing.
Well,
So
Steph Curry did
again,
that for
very
his
early.
teammates at one point. He didn't get the scoring title and things because he actually wanted to win, and I think that takes a lot of, character and whatnot, but
Yep.
a question that just popped in my head thinking about this, would you want to be on a team with LeBron James just in theory, on paper, to try to go win the championship, or do you think you'd rather be on a team like the Suns that's kind of again, giving an example hypothetically, who's the underdog, has a lot of young talent, but a star like Devin Booker and great team chemistry. I think any day I would take chemistry over being with the star because I think you can really be overshadowed and probably not be seen as much in
I
some
agree.
regards.
I would definitely take chemistry. I think and this is not a dig at LeBron James in any way, shape, or form, but I think it's hard to grow when you're on a team with LeBron because he is such an important person on the roster and the offense is through his hands and he's a dominant force every time he's on the court. If you're a guy that's looking for playing time because that's the only way that you get better, you're probably
Mhm.
not going to find it if you're not one of the best in the business when you're on a team with LeBron James.
And
And
he
it's not a
just
dig
brings
at
in
him.
whoever he wants.
Right,
So
I mean, he's
if
just
he
so
wants
good
you
at what he
out, you are
does,
out.
and right, and so I think I would rather be on a team of young talent that maybe isn't winning championship titles every year and that doesn't have a guy like LeBron James so that I'm able to get more playing time, get the ball in my hands more, and
Mhm.
grow as a player. So I'd probably prefer that. You see a lot of these guys coming out of college that that get drafted to the NBA and they get really excited to be on a team where they know they're going to play. If you're on a team with LeBron
Yeah.
James, you're not playing. You're going to sit the bench for probably half the season or more. So to be on a team where you can get playing time, that's the only way you get better. So I would definitely choose a team where, kind of like we asked Annie last week, would you rather be on an average team and be, one of the better players
Mhm.
or be an average player on a really good team? So I think I'd take the
Yeah.
chemistry and being with a bunch of superstars rather than one guy that's kind of dominating everything. So, but I'll never be in that position anyway. So I'm chilling. I'm
I
chilling.
went to the doctor recently. This is such a random note, but they took my height and I actually shrunk an inch. I'm 5'2" and 3/4. So I'm never going to the league. But speaking of
I
rookies, go ahead.
Are you sure you're that short? Because I thought we were the same height, and I'm 5'4".
When they measured me and I looked at it, it was 5'2", and then I came home and put the thing above my head, like an actual measuring, like the what are they called? The yellow things? Tape measure? Not tape
Yeah,
measure. What do
tape
they call
measure.
it? Is
Tape
that tape
measure.
measure?
Tape measure. Yeah.
Clearly, I don't do any home improvements.
She doesn't measure very many things, so
Yeah.
fine.
That is gonna be clipped off as something worse. All right, moving on. We mentioned the rookies. Jalen
Yes.
Green, just wanted to mention he's plus 240. He's been great. But I did want to mention Cade Cunningham. He's behind him in the odds boards, plus 380 despite not playing it. I know he's injured. And then you have some of the other guys kind of falling plus 600 and below. But Jalen Green's definitely taking the cake so far in this market, plus 240. But it will change over the next couple of weeks. So don't need to jump on those futures, I think, just yet with Rookie of the Year. But the point I'm making is since we're talking about some of these players who do well on other teams because they're not with star
Yep.
players and they're young teams, in this particular market, Rookie of the Year, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But the other point that I made is for a lot of these guys, I don't really want to sit around and watch the Detroit Pistons, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and like follow these guys.
No,
So
it's
you kind of
tough.
have to keep up with like on Stat Muse. I'll throw their names in and say what are their current stats or things like that, just
Right.
because I don't want to
Right.
actually sit and watch these games. It's kind of tragic
No,
sometimes.
absolutely. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to consider when you're looking at, especially rookie of the year. Look at guys that actually are going to have a role, like
Mhm.
look at guys that are actually going to get the playing time. And because that obviously makes a huge difference. You have a guy like LaMelo Ball who was really able to be someone last year because he got a lot of playing time and they needed a guy like him. So, yeah,
And
interesting. I haven't
comes
really.
into the season two with a fire fit.
Yeah, was that the highlighter yellow thing going on?
I thought it was terrible. I didn't like it, but everybody else loved it.
I'm not a big fan of bright colors like that. Like my entire closet damn near is black, gray, and white. I really wish I was kidding, but I swear to you, I will go to the store, call my mom and say, I found really cute stuff. I pull it out and it's like 5 black t-shirts, 2 pairs of black sweatpants. She's like, Olivia, what about that is cute? Like you are literally
Yeah,
dressing so
I
plain
am
and
never
boring.
into like super highlighter things. It just doesn't.
My
I don't
whole
know.
outfit today is black. The whole thing. Like it's just I feel like a ninja. It matches my vibe. It is
You're
what it
always
is.
ready to go.
But
We're ready.
I'm always ready. Always, 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 always.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. All right. Well, that kind of wraps up, I feel like, some of the NBA. Again,
The
you guys
NBA,
can
yeah.
throw in Chris Duarte from the Pacers Rookie of the Year. A lot of people are making cases for him. So maybe sprinkle some money on that. It's good money right now in the FanDuel Sportsbook.
Motive Jag said Davion Mitchell is who I'd bet on.
Oh, a lot of people like him too. I think he's plus
Yep.
1,600. Is he still 1,600?
So that's got good value right
Yeah.
now. Yeah,
Those
cool.
are the two names I hear a lot. I had said Jalen Suggs going into the season, but he's 11-1 right now. He keeps moving up. I feel like Jalen Green jumped down the board really quick and everybody else moved out really fast. But it's only week 2, so again, something you can
Right.
monitor.
We got a lot of time for sure.
Robert. Oh wait, is that who you just said? Robert. What last name did you say?
I said Davion Mitchell.
No, I know, but who is the name? I think you might have commented the same thing. Well, someone on YouTube, Robert, I don't know how to say it. Sorry, I don't know how to say your last name. Jalen Green is a lock. You should lock that in right now, plus 240, or wait. I would actually wait till that line moves out even further, but that is just me. Let's switch over to some NFL, as we talked about kind of top of the show.
We have week 8 sneaking up on us. I'm excited. We kind of talked a little bit. We started to talk a little bit about this Green Bay Packers Cardinals situation. All I'm going to say to you is I'm totally riding with the Packers to cover. I think this is one of those games where the Cardinals are undefeated. The Packers are out players to the COVID reserve list. So it's just setting it up so perfectly for the public to hammer the Cardinals to cover here. And I'm not saying they're not capable. This team is undefeated for a reason. They look really great. But Aaron Rodgers in prime time, he showed this when he played the 49ers. He needs about this much time to go off and do what he needs to do. And I would argue, yes, we've got Devontae Adams out. There was another name, Lazard.
Alan Lazard. I think.
Sorry, guys.
I think you say it like that. I always get that name kind of messed up.
I know, I get it wrong every time.
But his is just because he's unvaccinated and it's too short of a week.
So he got placed on the COVID list as well. So he's not playing either.
But also, I believe their defensive coordinator's out. That was another big thing. I mean, it's jumped 3 points. So at this, oh my gosh, it's kind of play on words there. At this point, I feel that you should take the Packers at plus 6.5.
I agree. And let me tell you, we have seen this happen before where a player goes out, a few players go out, a QB goes out, and the line dramatically moves. And the public hammers that other team.
And no QB has gone out, by the way. Just
their
wide receivers.
Well, and yeah, no. But like a perfect example, Baker Mayfield they said he wasn't playing against the Broncos. And all of a sudden the line started moving in favor of the Broncos. And to everyone's surprise, including my own, maybe not everyone, the Browns were just fine without Baker Mayfield, and the line probably shouldn't have moved the way that it did.
I was all over the Broncos, taking them the money line as soon as that was announced, and then Case Keenum actually showed us. And that was a terrible game to watch. No offense, I know you're the Broncos, but some guy 388 just said, "I'm waiting for 7." My advice on waiting for 7 is that most likely, obviously, if it's a touchdown, it's a push. I hate betting 3 and 7 because if it's a push, it's just no fun.
It's no fun because you're not a winner or a loser. You're just
average in the account. You're just straight up average if you get a push.
You're just hanging out, okay? But no, I really do like the Packers here. I don't ever think that one guy, even 2 guys, should move a line that much. That's just my opinion. Obviously,
also the Packers are good.
They are good. That's what I'm saying.
Have we forgotten
I understand.
Aaron Rodgers?
Someone tweeted at me too and said that the Packers are 6-0 without Adams. So it's not like they're not capable when he's gone, right? Like I understand,
but I think everyone's so high on the Arizona Cardinals.
But again, that to me is all the more reason to take the Packers to cover. Not saying they win, but we know how this Vegas primetime game stuff works. And if the public is hammering the Cardinals, and I'm not just hammering Packers to cover because of Vegas and where the public money is. this Packers team is good. Aaron Rodgers is good, especially in prime time. So I really believe the Packers will cover in this game. So I'm going to definitely take them. And it was also announced too, JJ Watt with the Cardinals is out. So if we're going to play the whole
DeAndre Hopkins is questionable for the Cardinals as well, which is huge.
I'm telling you, I'm taking the 6.5. I love it. I really think that the Packers give us a really good game and keep it close. And before before the injuries started popping up or the COVID cases started popping up, I really thought about sprinkling on the Packers money line when it was at +2 something. Because I think this Packers team is capable. But obviously now when you're missing some people, you don't want to be that ballsy. So I will take them to cover, but I am absolutely on the Packers +6.5 tomorrow.
All right.
Without a doubt.
You and I on the Packers +6.5. Let's get it. Okay. Just looking down the board initially, like off the bat, thoughts. The Eagles -3.5 against the Lions. I hate that. I think the Lions are potentially just win this game outright. The Philadelphia Eagles are so bad, and they're my team, so it's really hard to say. Bengals -10.5. Hate that line. Something about it. I don't like it. Either it should be longer. I don't like that it stayed stagnant. I just all around don't like that line. What was the other one that I really? Oh, the Cowboys. I know you like the Cowboys. I think the Vikings money line. I think they win at home. They're so good when they play at home. They always cover against the spread at home or win outright. So I'm going to take them just because with Dak and whatnot. I mean, I know he's going to play in this game, but you just never know. He could play,
no, for sure.
Throws and just decide that.
It's interesting because I had 3 picks that went out yesterday. I'll run by them really quick. I like the Saints +5. We've seen that Jameis Winston and the Saints team clearly loves to be underestimated. They're 2-0 as underdogs, winning outright, and they're going up against a Bucs team that is 0-3 against the spread on the road. So I really like the Saints here to cover, not saying they win, but I like them to cover at +5. The other one that I like is Lions money line. I put that out yesterday and I said, yeah, this is a little ballsy, but the deal is they're desperate for a win. I would argue that this Lions team is much stronger and more capable than their record shows. They've hung with teams far more
they're
talented
close
than the
sometimes.
Eagles. They kept it close with the Rams just last week, and I would argue that the Rams and the Eagles are not even close to being in the same category. I also don't love, no offense, but I also don't love that the Eagles are coming off of back-to-back road games. Doesn't really feel great with this team. I don't know how much I trust my money with Jalen Hurts as is, but then back-to-back road games doesn't make me feel great. So
and their head coach kind of put his foot in his mouth today. He in a press conference he was talking about flowers and soils, and he's something.
So I actually think the Lions may get their first win this week. I hope for their sake that they do. And then finally, I did take Cowboys -2.5. I haven't taken it yet, but that was my lean yesterday. My thought process here is, as much as I want to continue to fade this team and see them not be as hyped up as everyone thinks that they are, they just look really stinking good on both sides of the ball. I would argue this is the strongest the Dallas Cowboys have looked in a very, very long time. Dak Prescott is seemingly healthy for the most part, and they're coming off of a week of rest. I do, though, however, to your point, I went back and forth with this game about a million times because we have seen how great Kirk Cousins is when he plays at home. This Vikings defense is strong at home. They're great against the spread. They win at home. So definitely could see a little bit of an upset situation here where that undefeated against the spread record gets squashed. But it's just tough for me to fade this Cowboys team right now, especially coming off of rest, because it seems that every time I fade them, I get burned. So I'm riding with them this week, most likely, unless something crazy happens. But those are my 3: Saints +5, Lions money line. And right now, a little iffy on it, but Cowboys -2.5. So we'll see. We'll see what we get. But
what's the deal? Because I'm looking for it right now. Titans Colts. Titans opened -1, which basically it's a pick 'em, but now it's Colts -1.5. What am I missing?
I don't know.
Why
but I'm going to be honest with you.
Colts favored, kind of. I mean, Carson Wentz.
I don't know if there's an injury. I don't know if there's an injury on the Titans
right now. If someone in my ear, if any of the producers know, I don't know if I missed something. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
Wait, there's no preview for it either. Who is out on the Titans? There's somebody out. There's got to be.
Let me see if I can find anything. But
both teams are 5-2 against the spread. Titans are 5-2 record, 2-1 on the road. The Colts are 1-2 at home, 3-4 record. Why would they? Strange. Very, very strange. We'll have to get back to that.
I have convinced myself on both sides of that bet. Like I've said, oh, I could see this. Oh, I could see this. Here's my thing with this Titans team. They look great. They are heating up. Absolutely. But don't think I didn't forget the L they took to the Jets. The Jets. Wait, was it the Jets? No, it wasn't. Who was it? Who did the Titans lose to? Well, they lost to the Cardinals. Yeah.
It was a week 1, remember? Or no, they covered.
Well, it was that was the Cardinals, but there was another L they took.
Titans lost to the Jets in overtime.
Yeah.
24-27, Jets won. That was
So I didn't forget about that,
4 weeks ago,
to be honest
October
with
3rd.
you. It's hard. You can't forget about that moment.
Yeah, but
yes, they do look a
27-3
whole lot
against the
better.
Chiefs. And then the week before, 34-31 win over the Bills. Those are 2 huge wins.
Right.
I mean, the Chiefs actually suck.
Weren't they at home? Were they at home for both of those wins?
Yeah. So they're probably banking on them not to win 3
It'll be
4
interesting to
straight.
see how they play on the road because they've had home field advantage for the past few weeks. But I will say on the other side of this bet, I've also convinced myself that the Colts could do it because this team is shown to be pretty competitive this year. And they've been hanging with some tough teams and getting some wins when you didn't think they would. So I think it's going to be a good game for sure. I'm staying away from it personally because I've convinced myself of both sides. So
nobody knows. Okay. Sorry. We were listening to the producer in our ear saying that nobody knows yet on the Titans situation. But quickly, also, for those in Connecticut, welcome on board to the FanDuel Sportsbook. So happy to have you. We have a Spread the Love Connecticut going on. So for the Patriots-Chargers game, the line will move 1 point in favor of New England for every 250 customers that wager on it. It's basically free money. Just go bet this, max bet $50, and try to get that line super high. We do a lot of Spread the Loves every time we launch in a new state. So this one is just for Connecticut only. So excited to have you on board, and you should be spreading the love.
Welcome.
And betting that Patriots lineup.
Love it. I'm excited. The more the merrier. Welcome aboard.
So kind of switching over to something that's more, I would say, I don't know if you put in the category of pop culture, but everybody loves to talk about sneakers. And I had recently just bought a pair of Jordans, the same ones that I believe, Liv, you have the Mocha J1s as well. So we wanted to talk about some of the sneakers. And we can kind of like make fun of these in a way. I mean, you can't I'm not saying make fun of them in the sense we don't like them, but I feel like it says a lot about people sometimes what shoes they're wearing now.
Okay, so I brought some props because I have 6 of the 8 sneakers.
Liv's gonna flex on all of us right now. So and she has the Oreos, which I want.
Let me just say about this pair, love. I didn't think that I'd be able to match to this baby blue because my whole wardrobe is dark. But to my surprise, these shoes are very easy to match, and they're my go-to Denver Nuggets shoes when I go watch a game. They're very pretty. Love. And then you, I think, just ordered these ones because I have them in the mochas. This is another pair that I feel like if you have a very neutral closet, you should probably have a pair of these, to be honest with you. I like them a lot. I have struggled to match them only because this color isn't really cream or isn't really white. It's kind of creamish. So if I'm wearing white, I always feel a little uncomfortable mixing the black with the white. I'm weird. It just looks a little cream to me. I could be crazy, but
I feel like
this is the pair.
I don't think it's cream.
I am. This is the pair that I told Erin she needs to get ASAP.
And
I was actually sent these shoes because I got scammed. I was trying to help a guy out who had what I thought was a sneaker company.
I remember. That's like a real issue.
I bought quite a few pairs of shoes, or what I thought was quite a few pairs of shoes, and he turned out to be a complete scammer. And I was out quite a bit of money. And one of my fantastic Twitter followers, Sharp Tank Coco, I think is his name on Twitter, he hooks me up with these absolutely stunning shoes. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if this is my style. Like, I don't know if I can really wear these.
They're my favorite. They don't have my size anywhere. They don't have my size.
They look so good
in those shoes. And I'm so mad. Me and Liv also like think alike in a weird way. So she has the Mochas and the University and the 4s. And those are the ones.
And the ones I'm wearing today are these, which I will say.
I'm assuming you're in dunks. Is that what you're going to say?
Yes. So I actually wear these ones probably the most, just because they're black and white. You can wear them with anything. But I love them. And then these
love
two
them.
pairs, honestly, they kind of get boring when you start getting Jordans. As much as I love these classic, these are my going out shoes. Love them. They're great. You can't even see what they are. The Air Maxes, whatever, doesn't matter. These are the Air Maxes.
Those, yeah, I think there's Air Max 90s and then Air Force Ones. Are those like a combo?
Air Force are the ones
yeah.
Air Force Ones are the ones that I wear going out. Typically, they're kind
of
like
everybody wears them. Yeah.
Yeah. So either way,
huge. But yeah, what shoes do you guys love to dabble in? I feel like some people are super like New Balance or Yeezy. Obviously, I feel like nobody says anything bad about Jordans. How could you possibly say anything bad about Jordans?
It's not a thing, I don't think. I don't actually, to be honest with you, and this may be kind of a hot take, I don't love how Yeezys look. For me personally,
I never wanted them, to be honest.
Yeah,
they kind of look like duck shoes sometimes because they're so big on people's feet that when they're walking, no, I'm serious, they kind of look like they were so cool when they first came out. Like, but if I went and bought a pair now and rocked them at a game, somebody would probably be like, "Why are you wearing Yeezys right now?"
Yeah, I don't think Yeezys are like an attractive shoe. And if I'm gonna buy a shoe and spend money on a shoe, it's gonna be a shoe that I am not wearing just to fit in, but I actually like the way they look.
The Jordans that you just showed are never going out of style, ever.
They're my favorite. And I'm here to tell you right now, I will likely, I've told myself, I've limited myself to 2 pairs of shoes a month. And that is a limit to me. Okay, listen, I'm telling you, you guys, first of all, if you're not using GOAT or StockX as an app, you absolutely need to. And number 2, once I realize that I have a youth size, that the shoes are like $100 cheaper in youth.
You say that, but then I go and I look at youth and they seem like they're the same, unless it's maybe, I mean, every shoe size is a different price. So maybe that's more so my problem, but.
Well, then you have a very popular sized foot because my shoe, there's a pair of Dunks that are red and black.
Oh yeah, you told about these. I think I saw these.
$95. $95 for a youth. For a youth,
it's unfortunate because every shoe I want is a minimum of like $800 of any Jordan. So
I gotta be honest, the University Blues and the Mochas, actually, I think pretty much the 3 pairs I showed, besides the Air Forces and whatever, they're a little pricey. But when you know that you have longevity, it's like an investment. I can turn around and sell these.
You can rock them with anything too. And anybody's going to say that. Also, I think us working in sports makes it a little bit more acceptable because there's this new shoe store at KOP, which is like the second biggest mall in America. And it's like 20 minutes from my house. And it has all Jordans and whatnot. I went with my best friend and she was like, I would never buy a pair of these. Like, why would you ever wear these? And she's like, is not into sports whatsoever. And I was like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I was like, you should just keep your mouth shut in the store.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm like, this is like, they have every color possible. I'm like, this is like heaven on earth.
It's fantastic. Yeah, that's one thing I think I don't need a man for diddly squat. I don't need you to buy my food. I don't need you to put a roof over my head. I can pay my bills. I don't need you to pay off my student loans. I got myself covered. Okay. But what you can do if you'd like to be nice and be a gentleman is either buy me a nice bag or buy me a pair of shoes.
See, I don't ever rock a purse. I don't have any bags because I have one off-white bag, but I don't enjoy rocking any bags. But yeah, for all the creeps out there, if you really want to make a statement, send them to FanDuel's headquarters and just give me and Liv just boxes of Jordans.
I'm just telling you right now, that is so my love language. It's not even funny. A nice pair of kicks.
My love language is Jordans.
I swear to God, that's just how I feel. So anyway, you can never go wrong with shoes, though. You just can't. But either way, why don't we
get to some Q&A? Is anybody
Q&A's going?
Some guy also 3888 had said we're betting against Brady again. We weren't per se betting against Brady to fail or not win. We were just taking the other team to cover, which is exactly what Liv is doing again this week. Taking the
So he'll probably do what he did last week, which was flip me off.
How about that whole debacle with the ball? Insane that they threw it up and then it was they had to give them certain terms and conditions to get the ball back.
Yeah. So my thing is, if I were Brady, I would want that ball. I really would. Honestly, that's a pretty big deal, and that's a huge accomplishment, and I would definitely want that ball. They did give that fan quite a bit in return for giving the ball back. I mean, he got like season tickets, a signed helmet, jerseys, all these different things that he can
Which
turn
he could
around and
turn
sell.
around and go sell. I was gonna say, and go turn around and go
You can
sell.
turn it around and sell it, because a lot of people's big thing was that ball was worth $500,000. I'm going to be completely honest with you. That would not be the first thing that went through my mind when I got that ball. It would not be,
No,
oh, I
I
can't
would
wait
have
to turn around
never
and sell
thought of
it.
that. No.
I would have never thought about that. So I guess if that's
Also,
what
had
happened?
that happened in Philly and they threw that ball up and an Eagles fan had gotten that, there would have been, you would have probably been killed on your way out of the stadium and walking out.
I
People
was
would have
going to say
jumped you for that ball.
it's actually
I would not
dangerous.
even want to hold on to that. I think I would just be like, okay, who has like $100 on them? Somebody give me a ball. Give me it.
Yeah, no,
A little low,
thank you.
$100. But I'm just saying, in retrospect, people
We
have
do
class, I guess.
have a question from Facebook. Shout out to Facebook. From Nick Francis, he asks, anytime touchdown score locks for a SGP. I will say this much. I actually think this is one of those games, especially on the Packers side, where an anytime touchdown score is a pretty awesome bet in this situation. When you lose a guy like Adams, it kind of helps narrow down a little bit the other guys that will likely get fed the ball when he's not playing. So to answer your question, I don't have one off the top of my head, but
I'm looking at it right now.
Erin may have one. Let me check. Because
Hold on.
I
I'm
always
in the
find it easier
wrong.
sometimes with player props when you have an injury, when you have an important player that's out. It's kind of easier sometimes to find player props that you like. So let me see really quick.
They're
Let's see
all
what we're
kind
working
of
with
for the
here.
Cardinals right now that I'm seeing. I need to. DeAndre Hopkins still up there, minus 115. Aaron Jones, James Conner, Kyler Murray, Chase Edmonds, AJ Green, Randall Cobb.
I was gonna say Aaron Jones might be a good one, to be honest. Randall Cobb could be another one. Did you just say both of those?
No, sorry, I was just looking down. I wasn't really making a specific pick. Sometimes I feel like for the same game parlays are my favorite thing to put in the anytime touchdown scores, but it's so frustrating when it actually just doesn't hit because one of these players didn't.
Yeah, it can be a very annoying bet. I'm
I feel
gonna
like
look
Aaron
right now.
Jones is a good one, honestly. I know I put him
I
in
was
a
just
parlay
gonna say
before.
Aaron Jones minus 115. The odds there
But then
aren't
it's,
great. If you're
yeah,
looking for better odds, I would say Randall Cobb is a good one at plus 190.
or since we know that Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers are good to go, maybe take their passing props and things like that. First half, let's see what the first half spread is. What is it? Probably 3.5, I assume. It is, yeah, 3.5. Maybe
3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really build a same game parlay without like really getting to the nitty gritty of it. But Andrew just said, Erin, can you confirm tomato pie is the best tailgate food?
What in the world did you just say? Tomato pie?
I think that some people say that as pizza. Like some people don't call it pizza; they call it tomato pie.
Is that a Philly thing? Because so help me God, I will never visit
I
Philadelphia.
kind of think that is. That's why I said it out loud. Oh, pizza without
That's
cheese.
horrifying.
I don't
Ew!
really.
What are you, a sociopath?
I thought maybe the cheese was underneath. I don't know. I would say the best tailgate food is when somebody makes wraps on a grill. I just had recently had one of those. It was actually amazing. But
You know what? I could really F up a burger any day of the week. I'm going to be honest with you right now.
it's not my favorite.
Good, and it doesn't even need to be a fancy, like you take a frozen patty, put it on the grill, add a piece of cheese, and put it in between two buns with a little mustard and ketchup. I'm here to tell you I'm having a good time. Period.
I like
Okay?
mustard over
Seriously.
ketchup. I can make that argument too.
And I got to tell you something else. I went to a Nuggets game yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, it was Monday night. And the most basic chips with that fake cheese. I know it's fake. I don't care. And some jalapenos on top. I don't think I spoke a word or even breathed for about 20 minutes until that thing was gone.
Oh my gosh.
Swear.
Andrew just followed up and said only Philly people will get with tomato pies. Yes. I'm from Philly. The problem is that I don't eat pizza, so That is
Okay, this girl told
prevalent
us a
answer.
couple weeks back that her dinner is a piece of chocolate and a sweet potato. So we
No,
don't take
you asked
any.
because I don't know how to cook. I literally tried to make pancakes the other day and I burnt the pancakes. I'm not a good cook. I'm not going to be a housewife. I need a chef. I need to get rich
Erin,
so I get
I
a
would
chef.
rather you make Easy Mac, and read the directions straight off the box than eat a piece of chocolate and a sweet potato
I'm
and
going to
call
be
that dinner.
honest. I don't like Easy Mac. So we could go through the list of things that Arizona doesn't like, and majority of the
No,
food
actually,
ones
let's
are
go
in
through the
there.
list of things you do like because I feel like that list is a whole lot shorter. What do
It
you like?
is.
We know you like sweet potatoes and chocolate.
Chicken nuggets are huge. It's the only
Oh my god,
protein
so
I
you're telling
like.
me you eat like a baby. You eat like a child.
Basically, yes, I do. I really do. It's so bad.
Do you like baked potatoes, like normal potatoes?
No. They gotta be sweet potatoes, and they have to be sweet potato fries. They can't just be like a sweet potato. There's always like a catch, you know. But we're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. What was the other
I'm
thing I was just gonna
very upset.
mention? Quickly, MLB update. The Astros are up 5-1. I had taken the under
Woo!
9, so people need to stop scoring. It needs to end right now. As in the NBA,
Someone
Heater
said
up, so
Dino
that bet's
Nugs.
looking good. What?
Someone said Dino Nugs or regular.
Oh, so on TikTok, there's this thing that went viral. Is at Costco. It is these chicken nuggets. They taste just as good as Chick-fil-A. I can confirm. I eat them every single solitary day. They're in like a green-looking bag. They went famous on TikTok. You can look it up and you'll find it right away. They're so good. Put them in the oven for 23 minutes. You don't have to touch them. The only reason why I can make them.
So
All
help
right.
me God.
Oh,
I
also,
can't with your diet.
Thunder's kind of coming back. 74-61, only down 13. Timberwolves are up on the
Okay.
Bucks. Told you I liked that. Plus 6.5. Hopefully they can keep that. Let's see. Hornets are up. Wizards
Love
Celtics
it.
is close. Might turn that on.
I gotta tell you, you guys, I was going through a little bit for the past, I want to say year and a half since I joined this industry. I was pretty hard on myself about getting a bet out almost every single day. And this week, I kind of hit this moment where it wasn't even like I was bummed or I was stressed. It was like my brain turned off. I couldn't think about betting. I couldn't think about looking at the FanDuel Sportsbook for more than 5 minutes. I was so just like I think I've been so overwhelmed and overstimulated. I traveled a lot in October. We now have 4 major sports happening simultaneously. It's just a lot going on. I
I
took
think
a
it's
couple
a
days
lot to put
off.
out picks every single day. I don't think I
It
mean,
is.
people probably do realize that bet, but just how much research goes into it. And then if you're wrong, how much heat you take. And then if you're right, it's like,
It's hard.
it's
It's hard.
it's a lot when you do it every single solitary day. That's why I don't put picks out every single solitary day because
So
sometimes it feels very forced. And that's when it's the
long
worst.
story short, I took a couple days off, and last night I watched basketball without a bet on the line for the first time in a very long time. And I gotta say, as much as I love betting, I think I needed that little break, just a little one. And now I'm ready to go. Like Thursday night I'm so sorry. My dog is trying to be on camera. Harley, this is so inappropriate and unprofessional. Come on now. Anyway, God, jeez. That's maybe that's how we know it's time to wrap because now my dog wants to be on camera.
Oh
So
my God.
anyway,
Adorable.
either way, it
All
was
right,
nice to watch
guys.
sports without betting. So do it
I'm
sometime.
sure it was.
It's
Can't even
healthy.
imagine doing that. But all right, guys. Next week we'll be back with episode 9, and we will see you there next Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Woo! Can't wait.
See ya.